Hey, this is Reggie Fab coming at you with week 20 of my year of living differently. And this week was about exploring a city when you're traveling for work. I am traveling to Oklahoma City and to Tulsa for some work-related projects, and I've never been to Oklahoma. Crazy, I've been to most of the states in the Union, but I'd never been to Oklahoma before. And so even though I've got all of this work that I have to do and a lot of my itinerary is already laid out for me, I really wanted to take some time to explore the cities themselves and find out a little bit more about Oklahoma City and Tulsa. So I came up with a few tips, things that really worked for me, and I'd love to share them with you. The first is to do your research. The internet is a great tool, and I think about all the times when I'm traveling out of the country, if I'm going to France or if I'm going to Aruba, or if I'm going to the Dominican Republic. I really do a lot of research. I buy Frommer's or Photos or somebody's travel guide, and I never do that domestically. What's really great is that there are a lot of online resources for that. So for Oklahoma City and for Tulsa, Frommer's has a really extensive list as far as things to do, nightlife, shopping, events, all of those kinds of things, which had never occurred to me for domestic travel, especially if it wasn't a touristy place like New York City or Los Angeles. So both of those are listed in the video description box, and you can check it out and get a lot more information. But also taking advantage of things like Urban Spoon and just general forums where people talk about travel and what's going on and what's to do. Really great sources of information. I learned a lot. And Oklahoma City and Tulsa both have a lot of rich history that I really didn't know that much about. So a little research makes a big difference. The second thing, ask the locals. People are so proud of their city and they want to share that information with you. Take advantage of it. So from the concierge at your hotel to people on the street to people in bars, and the more specific you can be, the more helpful people are to you. So I tell people, I really want to know what are the great places that locals like to eat. Where would you hang out on a Friday night? What are some really fun things to do? What are things that really capture the spirit of Oklahoma City or Tulsa? And what are some things that you really would say I have to see? People are so glad to share that information with you, and it tends to be pretty accurate. And I ask a bunch of different people. I tell them the kinds of things that I'm interested in, and people really are very considerate and take a lot into thinking about what their recommendations are, and for the most part those recommendations have been on the money. The third thing, be a tourist. I have often been resistant to doing that. I hate looking like a tourist, and when I lived in DC, tourists often drove me crazy because they stood on the wrong side of the escalator in the subway. But being a tourist is a great opportunity to learn a new city. So you sign up for the tours. I went to the Oklahoma City Memorial and museum to learn more about the bombing. But it was great because there's a lot of information there about the city itself. People gave presentations as far as what actually happened and to talk about the city then and now and how times have changed. You really learned a lot. I certainly watched it on the news, but I learned so much more from going to the memorial at the museum than I ever would have from a CNN broadcast. And so just signing up for quick tours and going to museums and sort of those tourist places really does give you a chance to experience the city in a fun way, in a very informative way. That being said, the fourth thing is arrive early or stay late, even if it's just a few hours, to make sure that you have some time to do those tours, to see the city, to just go out and explore. Oftentimes it doesn't really affect your work schedule so much. It doesn't matter if you come in on an 8 a.m. flight or if you come in on a 2 p.m. flight, but those few hours can really give you a chance to experience the city in a whole new way. And my fifth and final recommendation: rent a car, even if it's just for a day. You can also do things in certain cities like Zipcar, or those shared car services where it's not a tremendous amount of money, but to drive a city is to really experience it. Get a great map and just drive around. Again, people tend to be very helpful and proud of their city and will give you tips on go here, go there. Even if you get lost, it's a great way to explore and find out more about a place that you're probably going to be in for just a very small amount of time, but to make the most of your experience. Besides, let's be honest, that conference isn't really going to be that exciting anyway. But that gives you an opportunity to go to a restaurant that's not right around the corner, but the place that really has that great local cuisine, and oftentimes is much cheaper. So you get a lot more for your money, and maybe you can put a little of that per diem in your pocket. This was fantastic for me. I learned so much, and it was really nice to even just have a break from work and do something fun to fit that in as well. So next week is about work, and it's about goal setting and life planning. Really just making sure that you have a path that you want to go on and that you're making adjustments as you move forward to achieving those goals in a slightly new way. But until then, bye.